Welcome back. Hope you've been enjoying the AKX content. Now, if you missed the last video, we put a new hop rubber and hop arm in this thing. Still on the standard barrel. We're going to see how that does. It's more than likely what will happen after the first game is I'll take the standard barrel out and put a Lilacs in there because that's my go-to barrel, just like the way that they work. And yeah, this thing is turned into a bit of an absolute monster. However, I'm going to want to run it at the weekend event I'm going to. Well, I might do. I'm taking a lot of guns with me. So there's a couple of things we need to do. We need to take apart the magazine and do the valve, which we'll normally do, which we'll get to in this video. And then we're going to dress it up with a few accessories and see how we go. So just going to empty the gas out this mag. Just run it down. Oh, we're empty. Good to go. So with the mag, what we're going to want to do is we're going to disperse the rest of the gas in the mag. So we could do that by just pushing the valve at the top there. That gets rid of the gas in the mag. We're going to flip this over and we're going to get a 2mm Allen key. And we're going to take these two countersunk screws off the bottom. 1 and 2. Like that. You have to be careful because it's under spring pressure. What I find best to do is if you open it, the front of the magazine towards your hand, let your hand catch what wants to fly out and hit you in the face. And then we can just remember that the follower is curved. We can pull that out and out of the way, like so. Then we're going to get a flathead. Do I have one? And we're going to remove the valve. Very easy thing to do. Strip that out. Seriously long valve. I think I left them like that in my AK. I can't remember trimming them down. Maybe I'll have to watch that video again and see what was going on. But it's very much the same as the other AK mag videos. Just using a flathead. You can use a valve tool on this. It's just what's to hand, so that's what I'm using. Probably do have a specific valve tool for this somewhere on the bench, but we won't go there just yet. So we can pull this tube, and we got this really long valve, and that sits in your gun like this, which means you only fill about this much in terms of liquid gas. We want to extend that and try and double it. And then we're just going to put the valve in like this. We can see where that valve comes to. I'm going to go just a little bit past. So about, let's slide this in. This is just a plumber's pipe cutter. You can get these dirt cheap on Amazon or from your hardware or DIY stores here in the UK. So I'm going to put that on there, and we're going to do it about there. And then what we do is we just tighten this down, and as we tighten this down, we just spin the tube. So it's a bit awkward to do it while filming, but you just spin the tube like that, tighten it down a bit, spin the tube again. It might be easier doing it this way. Now, if you're struggling to spin this when you're doing it, what you can do is this part's sacrificial anyway. We can just grab onto that if this thing was tight enough. Grab onto it like that and just spin it. Tighten it up, spin it, because sometimes, especially if your hands are greasy, it's hard to grip this tubing. There's been many people over the years of me doing this mod that have told me that I don't know what I'm doing and the mod will break your gun and this, that and the other. And honestly, I've never had anything bad happen to any of my guns that have done this. The only thing that I've experienced is a higher capacity of gas fill. Now, if you're worried about spitting gas or, you know, the gun expelling liquid gas instead of the other part of the green gas or propane, and it's spitting through your gun, All you do, if you're worried about that, is you just don't cut it as far. So maybe if you want a little bit more gas in your mag, but you don't want to go silly, just do it quarter of the way down. Feel free to test it as you will. Now we're just going to check this valve. So you'll see we've got it pretty bob on there, just in front of the valve. And what I'm going to do, before I put this back in the mag, just going to blow it through, make sure there's no dust or bits of swarf or anything like that. We pop this back in the mag, like so. I would even go as far to say the AKM mags are easier than the MWS ones. I don't know why. I think it's to do with the follower spring is just a little bit easier to get back in. So we've got that back in, then we put the valve in. Like I say, you can use a flathead screwdriver or you can use a valve key, totally up to you. With the Marui valves on the MWSs and the AKs, the actual inlet for the valve is quite far down, so putting a flathead on this part of the valve, you're not going to damage the valve at all. Just be careful you don't slip and you're not tearing up the surface. So with that back together, you can put the spring back in. There is a mod you can do with these to accept more BBs, and literally all you do is you chop this plastic follower down and it enables the follower to come further down. I've never really had an issue with the capacity on the AK. It might be something I look at trying in future, but for the time being, I'm kind of happy with the 35 rounds. So that goes in there like that, and then we just slide that under, much easier than the MWS. And we pop the countersunk screws back in. I honestly think the Marui Gas AK is a better system to the MWS in terms of efficiency. The full auto is just, you know, unimaginably better than the MWS. These guns are built to do full auto. That's why I love them so much. And I am glad I've picked up, you know, another AK model. Let's put some gas in the mags, check it doesn't leak. It takes a lot longer now to fill it up. So what you've always got to remember is you'll have atmosphere in the mag that you want to get rid of with a few shots. And of course, the first fill, when you've done this mod, is going to take a lot longer. And then afterwards, when you do top-ups, it shouldn't take nowhere near as long. So plenty of gas in that mag. We'll just purge the atmosphere from it. Straight away you can tell it's just got a lot more punch for a lot longer. When I've been doing full auto on this without doing this mod, it runs fine. It would run a full mag, but you know, you'd probably be struggling after that. When I've done the mod on these mags before, in the heat of summer, I was getting about 3 fills of BBs to 1 fill of gas. That's just how good they are. So we've done the mag mod. I've already done all my other magazines, which you'll have seen in previous videos. So what are we going to do to this thing now? There's a couple of things I'm going to need. I'm going to need a red dot. And I'm going balls to the wall on the red dot just because I've got it handy. But I'm going to be fitting the Mi Pro MOR. So let's get this fitted because we can, because we've got, you know, a nice long top rail. I think this is going to go with the sort of more futuristic looking build of the AKX. So we're just going to set where we want the button there. So I want it about there. I might move it back one, forward one, back there. So I can set the 2 latches down on the Mi Pro, and then I'm just going to tighten these screws up slightly just so it doesn't move about. You'll notice that I'm not using this end. Now I could, but it doesn't really require it. I just like to put an extra bit of pressure on these nuts just to make sure, to make sure it's not going to come loose, especially with GBB stuff. We have this button that we attach with this Velcro strap, like so. And what this actuates is this gives us both visible, so visible laser, and IR, and these co-witness with the red dot. It's a very good red dot. They're very expensive. I'm quite fortunate enough to have one. I understand it's going to be out of a lot of people's reach, but I think it does match this build. Now, as well as a red dot, and we've got the laser integrated, we're going to need a torch. Now, I haven't got a lot of choice of torch available to me at the moment, because they're all on other rifles, and I don't want to start stripping rifles down. So I'm going to go, I've had this for a while, it's an Olight Odin. Unfortunately, it's not black, but it is just sitting on there, and the great thing about these is they're rechargeable as well, so, and they do last quite a while. So, we might have to move this back a little bit. In fact, let's loosen that off. We can do that after. We're going to want this mount. So this is the QD mount that comes with it. 3mm Allen key to attach the M-lock. Just do a visual inspection that that M-lock is catching, which it is not. Sorry to be out of frame. Just the M-lock wasn't extended enough to grab the rail. There we go. Get the other one. So M-lock accessories have to do that 90-degree spin. So they grab the slot. Tighten that up there. And what this does, the reason why I've picked this torch out of my little storage box is if I don't want to run it, press the QD point, I can take it off and it's not going to be in the way. And then when it comes to night time, or if I want to do it, go through the buildings, because at the site where it is, the buildings are very dark, I can put that on there. I can flip the switch and now it's locked in, good to go. Has a magnetic cap which locks in place like that. So I might try, if they still do these, I might try and get a black one. Not everybody loves Olights, but I've always had a good experience with them. I do have Surefires as well, but they are ridiculously expensive in comparison. So are we going to be able to push this on? Is it going to go one further back? Come on. I think that might be a bit too far. It's going to foul the rear iron sight block. There we go. So with this, I'll have to locate this strap now. So this might look a little messy. Let's go under there. Oh, that's gone through the M-lock. Might not be a bad shout actually. Could move the torch back, but I don't really want to. I kind of want it out the way towards the front of the rifle. So we can wrap that round. That's going to give us plenty of purchase on the strap. You know what would be easier if I just if I just took the QD torch off? Wouldn't that be easier? Life's not always about doing things the easy way, is it? So we're going to pull this round, get that tucked under there so it's out the way. Like that, nice and tidy. Put the torch back on. I wouldn't normally run a torch, especially for an outdoor site, but like I say, where the event is at Swinnerton MOD training camp, it's normally quite overgrown. The buildings are old and sort of tucked back by nature a little bit. So if you're going in and out of buildings, you need something to navigate with. which the torch will give me. I've got the laser, which will co-witness my red dot, so I can use my red dot as normal. And then if it comes to a point where I want to hip fire, the laser is going to be, you know, perfectly zeroed to the red dot. So I've kind of covered all bases there. And there we have it, a futuristic AKX build ready for some skirmishing. So hope you've enjoyed this video. I know I babble on a bit. Appreciate that you guys stick around even though I do that. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out the links in the description below if you would be so kind. And, of course, from me and Bench, as always, we'll see you in the next video.